everyone, and welcome in. It's finally time. It's finally here. The NRG Invitational coming your way. I'm going to be your host for today, Aggro, joined on the desk, as usual, by my man, Toli. Toli, how excited are you for this to get started?
I mean, we have 20 SPL pros here in the NRG Invitational, the best of the best, drafted from their own regions. 4 different captains here, taking their best possibility to get a pretty cool grand prize.
This is going to be a ton of fun. I don't know if you guys caught the draft show, but we had a ton of fun doing that, and it's only going to get better from here on out. But first, I got to tell you about some things we have going on, namely HRX. I mean, that's what everyone's going to be playing for during the fall split, and we extended this early bird special a little bit longer, so up until September 9th, you could save 25%. Make sure you go to hi-rezexpo.com in order to get your tickets there. Trust me, you're going to want to go to HRX. Now, as far as the jerseys that these players are wearing, Totally, it would have been a little bit too confusing to have them in all their different organizations' jerseys, so Into the AM hooked us up with some sick jerseys for our 4 teams. You can actually go and buy one of your own for your favorite all-star team. Make sure you go to intotheam.com in order to get those. They're only available for a limited time. And then more things that you guys can get at home. The NRG organization is doing a Chronos skin giveaway from their World Championship skin. Make sure you go and follow and retweet NRG's tweet at NRGGG. And they're giving away 25 NRG Chronos skins. And totally, trust me, I don't know if you guys have seen it. This is one of the better skins we have in the game.
Absolutely. That Chronos skin, every time I play Chronos, I gotta just lean a little bit towards the biased NRG organization and those jerseys as well from Into the AM. You know, I'm already a big fan of Into the AM. You can see me on Twitter rocking out some of those Galaxy sweatpants every now and then. So these 4 jerseys, I'm a big fan of them as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun whenever you see them wearing those jerseys and just in these outright crazy game modes we've got going on. Saturday, that's today. All a bunch of fun game modes. We're going to start it off with Mage Madness. That's 5 mages on the Clash map. Then we're going to go to Joust, a 3v3. Multiplicity, that's going to be on the Assault map, but the entire team has to play one god. And then towards the end of the day, we start to get into that Conquest.
Yeah, that pick your poison Conquest where everybody's going to be drafting the other opposing player's gods. Could see some spicy picks, some unconventional gods maybe. Or Agni's on the table?
Oh, I think I would be pretty surprised if we don't get a chance to see Agni. Now, that's today. It's all fun game modes. Tomorrow, we're still going to have fun, but it's a little bit more serious. We're playing just outright Conquest, standard tournament format. Sunday's brackets, let's take a look as we see which teams are going to match up against one another. You get points for today, but I think this is what these teams are really looking forward to, a chance to square off with these absolutely stacked rosters.
That's correct. There's a total potential of 360 points on the table for today's Conquest or for today's mini games. And on top of that, if there's any tiebreakers, we're going to have that 1v1 on her Joust mode to make sure that there's going to be that 1-point tiebreaker.
And remember, there is a little bit of a caveat to that 1v1 mode where you actually will choose the other team member to represent them. So look, Jeff's going to get picked, right? If the Juggernauts are in the tiebreaker, Jeff Hinla's going to have to 1v1.
You think all the supports are going to get picked for that on her? You'd be surprised just how mechanically gifted some of these supports could be, because Jeff Hinla, if there's anyone that's going to push buttons, Jeff Hinla's going to be smashing all the buttons.
Oh, always. I don't know if you guys have seen his keyboard, but it's just riddled with different keys missing and new keys because he's always hitting it as hard as he can. But let's talk about this first matchup here, Toli. Mage Madness. It's the Minotaurs up against the Titans. This is going to be our first game of the NRG Invitational. Remember, this is on the Clash map, and you have to play 5 mages, so you were looking at these rosters here. Obviously, Zyrhoes and PrettyPriMe are going to do very well. I mean, they're the mid laners, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see so many different mages here, and it's not easy to pinpoint what mages we're actually going to see here because teams are going to try to replicate a very similar Conquest style where we're going to have a support and a tank, so you're going to have to build tanky on a mage, and I'm leaning more towards like potentially a Chang'e or an Isis to be that utility style mage.
That's a good point. I mean, healing is probably going to be pretty prevalent, but remember, Divine Ruin's a pretty solid penetration item now that gives that anti-heal, and then Pestilence gives you magical defense and an aura anti-heal, so could be a big pickup there. Any chance we see Ataraxia on Giannis? Any chance at all?
I mean, if it wasn't Clash, I would expect it, but with the walls on Clash, maybe not so much.
All right, well, I thought we were done telling you about 6 stuff we have to give you guys, but we aren't. We have a couple more things for you. Free Enigma chest for first wins of the day, up to 3 this entire weekend, so make sure you go out there and get those skins. There's some great ones in there. And then we also have 2 times fantasy points for you this weekend. We just released a ton of really, really cool skins on the season ticket, so make sure you get out there and start grinding.
That Naja skin specifically is looking mighty spicy. You know, you could have a chance to control the jungle and be flashy.
All at the same time. Look good, play good. That's what I always say. Ready to throw to the casters, but not the casters that you might think. Let's take a look at what we're going to have for the caster.
Yesterday, the first day, I wanted to send you home.
Clearly, you guys needed a, global icon and a national treasure to do all the judging, and that's why I'm here.
I guess it's time for one of you to go home. Anyone prefer to go home, by the way, first of all?
Oh, you're the guy on the TV. I figured you'd be taking it. I'm
You're hosting the show, so I expected you would host this too.
I think you just spoiled real stuff that wasn't out. But anyway, my name's F-Dot. I'm standing here next to one of our established guest hosts. This time, he's in his own realm. It's Hindu Man, of course.
Hosts,
Yeah, I mean on the show.
Oh, judge, you mean?
There you go. Host, judge.
I get to
all
be a
the
judge.
same
That's
things.
cool.
Yeah, but it's funny because, you're used to Hindu Man being like the king of banter. Kelly kind of outdid you.
Oh, she's brutal.
Kelly kind of outdid you on that show.
Brutal.
You guys just saw.
I was kind of nice, I guess.
Yeah, it's funny. He came in day one. Man, I can't wait. I'm going to destroy all these egos. Everybody.
But no one had egos. Well, some.
Everybody had egos, but homie was like, oh, I think I'm going to be nice. And Kelly was like, I guess I got to be the bad guy. But anyway, we got Energy Invitational today. Totally and Aggro over there set you up for the madness that we're about to get into. Mage madness, specifically. 5 players, clash map, all mages.
And the Minotaurs are one of those teams that are going to be taking part in the first game today. I'm excited to see how these boys do, because on paper, it's not a shabby-looking squad, this one.
Yeah, Zero's definitely very strong, as we said before. I mean, he's the mid laner, so no surprise here is how he's going to look. I think he's going to be a very strong choice when it comes down to rocking these mages. But it's interesting because Zero's likes to play the oddball characters anyway, so he'll leave the more traditional Poseidons and everything, I think, to the rest of the team, allowing him to play, the Morrigan.
Well, first of all, we've not seen these players play Clash competitively, first of all. Then you add in the fact that it's 5v5 and a very big open map. Then you add in the fact that it's only mages.
Yeah.
The question is, do you go for defense? Do you go for offense? Do you go for all-out damage? Do you go for the sustain option? Are we going to see people like the support players playing tanky versions of some of these mages? Tolly was talking about that too. We'll see.
I think we're absolutely going to go ahead and see at least a Hades. Like we heard Chang'e, but I think Hades is going to be the guy coming out. It's the Minotaurs versus the Titans, however. That's Ataraxia's team. He brought along his mid-mage PrettyPriMe, but right there, that's Mask himself. Now, we were talking about the mid laners having an easy time. What is Mask going to play?
Freya?
Chang'e?
I'm thinking of junglers.
Oh, Freya counts.
Potential junglers.
Freya counts
So
as mage.
Ao Kwang is also there. Freya's also there. He could go for just traditional mages too. Most of the mid laners are very simple. If you're really bad with your mechanics, you can always just play Kukulkan.
So he should play Kukulkan?
I wasn't saying he was bad at his mechanics. I was just saying
wait a second.
it was an option.
Kukulkan. You got me in that trap.
Kukulkan.
Now that Kukulkan is out, you
I know.
better get Kukulkan
I'm doing it on purpose.
right.
I'm doing it on purpose just to mess with us before. Although Kukulkan is available in this, Kukulkan is not.
You're trying to take the comfortability out of the broadcast. I see
am.
what you're doing over there.
I see Rafa found that funny.
Raffer finds everything fun.
Clear listening at the start as well. PrettyPriMe is going to be taking part in this one alongside Ataraxia. We mentioned that earlier on. And I'm excited about how this starts off because today's a lot of fun for these players, first of all. But there is bragging rights too. And you make a mistake on these maps and everyone's going to be looking at you like, did you really just mess that up?
Really, when it comes down to it, these guys, I've seen, it's all about fun when you're during the regular lands, right? We go in and we see everybody and they're huddled in what we call the icebox, the room with all the computers.
Yep.
And it's about on-air joust and everybody's laughing and having fun. And then the timer clicks 0 and nobody moves, everybody's silent, and it's all everything on the line. sometimes more serious than the actual games.
That's
I
true.
think we're going to get into these games and people are going to have fun, but then as the games are going on, you look at those player cams, I think these guys are going to be excited.
And obviously tomorrow when they take part in the Conquest, straight up 5v5s, this is all about seeding for day one. But the big thing that's going to be happening is that they're going to be competing to the best of their ability because there's a lot of money on the line and it's important.
Yeah, no stranger to money.
Man. Money's important.
No stranger to money. That's iRaffer. He's won the last 2 world championships, not just last year, but the year before that. Struggling this year on his regular team, now taking a step back to have our little fun here at the Energy Invitational. Like I said, SWC2, SWC3, DreamHack Masters 16. And his KDA, well, who knows? But iRaffer, he's certainly the man with the plan.
Simple to pick adapting first because I've got all idiots on my team, so it doesn't really make a difference. Whichever one I pick is going to be bad anyway. So Zyrhoes is just like more of a personality. There's a lot of EU mid laners I could have picked. Could have picked PrettyPriMe, Wolfie, Zyrhoes, you know, they're all really talented players, but me and Zyrhoes go a long way back. Like, I love the fella, and you know, he just merges so well with adapting, so it's perfect. So Benji, he was like really strong at Worlds when he was against us on enemy. And I feel like with a high pressure team, he'll be like really good. It'll like show his talent. I do think he's going to play really well this weekend, and I think he'll fit well with Pandacat also, and just with adapting too, because they're both really aggressive players. And he's confident in it, like himself. That's how good he is. That's where it shows his true strength. Trolls, man, just like me. I don't think we're going to do very well in Assault. People like Kenneth just can't play that game mode. I mean, if I personally had to... Oh, it's 5 mages, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to.
You've actually caught me off guard. I can't even think of which mages I play now. I could play Thoth. Maybe Hell, you know, I might throw a spicy Hell pick. Maybe not against 5 mages. You'd probably get pretty wrecked. I actually don't know. I don't know which mage I would pick. Maybe Thoth. Just have to wait and see. Just randomly generated, you know, in the SMITE trial.
You know, it's funny. He mentioned, you know, Assault might not be for Kenneth and the boys. This team has 1 speed, and that super serious let's win. Is that going to hurt them?
I don't know. We'll see, because the Mage madness at the start of the game as well. You just saw Raffer talking about the fact that he didn't even know who he's going to draft yet.
What's a mage?
It's going to be tricky to see. But to be fair, mages generally play a lot like Guardians in a lot of ways. You're very ability-based most of the time anyway, so it's not going to be too tricky for some of the Guardians. But people like Adapting who have Ao Kuang available... The junglers have a bit of a field day too. It's generally more than likely solo laners and hunters that are going to struggle the most.
Couple of choices here. Mage Madness, Minotaurs versus the Titans. Let's take a look. Ataraxia versus iRaffer. Very interesting setup here. The Titans on the left side in orange. Minotaurs in red.
And red, it's going to be, see, I like the Titans team just for the simple fact it's Ataraxia and Prime again.
Yeah.
It's a repeat of Worlds, potentially. We could actually see that. We could see Ataraxia and Prime take on Barracuda and Jeff at some point, and that's going to be exciting because it's just a rematch of Worlds.
That'd be a lot of fun here. And
have you ever seen this map, Tom?
yeah, of course.
That's a lie, isn't it, Tom?
I have 11 minutes on Clash.
So, the big important thing at the start is the red buff in the middle. Bonus experience, get that early on. You get a bit of a lead.
Wubbn already had to use his Aegis. Wubbn playing Thoth guy over here, just targeting Zyrhoes. Adapting going to be rocking the Chronos. We see a couple of other players. Raffer is on that Morrigan. That's surprising. I figured Zyrhoes would be rocking him.
Well, Raffer being in the Morrigan means you've got that stealth, the sneaky aspect of this, but it also allows you to turn into whoever is winning the game. Panda's in a lot of trouble there. I like that juke away from the turret because he looked like he was going to telegraph in towards it. Early on, though, there's a little bit of a gold lead, not by much because the gold spooling in Clash is so high, gold will not matter. Everybody will get to full build, and everybody will get to level 20 because that's the way Clash is done.
So one thing I'm really not surprised about here is Pandacat on the Habwa. You know what? The Hebo. It's a fun weekend.
Hebo?
Watching Pandacat on the Hebo, he's actually played this in the Hunter role a number of times on stream in ranked. I'm not sure if he actually brought it out in competition, but I feel like he's the guy that would. So when it comes down to it, not surprised to see Pandacat rocking this character.
Oh, I like the setup from Wubbn there, doing his supporting duties against an Arposh for the time being. And that Arposh by Benji, one of the strangest ones in terms of the picks here that we see coming out because everybody else has pretty much gone for the same sort of thing, but Arposh is the standout.
You know, you say that, Hindu man, but when it comes down to it, Deathwalker with the Arposh solo, you know what? You can't try that in a regular game. Maybe Benji wants to test some things out here and see how it works out.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one continues going on now, because the next big point of talking is going to be the 10-minute mark for me.
Yeah.
Because Apophis spawns then. And I'm hoping that the old group... Do you know who Apophis is?
Yeah, it's the guy from Mythology.
It's a giant snake, basically, that spawns in the center instead of a red buff at exactly 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And if anyone is in that circle, they will insta-die.
Yeah,
so, I want to see if there's going to be baits at the 10-minute mark between these two teams, because that's going to be exciting for me.
And you know, that's the key, is because we're sitting up here and we're telling jokes, but these are hardcore players. How many of them know the intricacies of Clash?
I don't know. I know some of the players will play it at times. And
right.
The one thing you're showing me so far is the Minotaurs understand that the red buff is important, but Titans, PrettyPriMe secured the buff as per usual and got a good Vulcan off.
Yeah, I mean, you give PrettyPriMe the Vulcan. This is his sort of court right now. You know, he's on the Vulcan. It's fun to watch that one.
Now, this is the difference between your high-level play and your casual Clash games as well, just so you guys at home know. The difference is there's not been 10 deaths already. And generally in Clash by this time, you've probably seen a couple of deaths. Both these teams understand that dying early will put them behind, give the other team an advantage. A 4v5 is very big in every game mode.
Well, everybody basically has an Aegis except for Dimi, who has Blink. And basically, we're seeing them go up real hard, hit everybody, Aegis, and then hang out in the back line.
I'm not really surprised by any of the picks either. Nothing stood out to me where I'm like, wow, he chose that? That's not really surprising.
Mask on the Chronos is the only one.
I really would like to see Ataraxia playing Giannis, though.
Both junglers are playing Chronos.
Yes. That's generally probably because of the fact that they either want to play it if they could for their teams, or they just know it's got a lot of CC and a survivability, because junglers generally, they have bumbers, and they're so used to having bumbers and be able to resustain in the jungle. There's no real jungle in this, which means Rewind is the next best option.
That's pretty fair. One thing I do notice, you know, it's funny. You can take the caster out of the serious game, but you can't. The Watcher's Gift on PrettyPriMe. This is very interesting. He's not expecting to clear the wave. He's looking just to poke the opposition, so he's gonna get that bonus.
Well, it's not just because of the fact that he's not going to be able to clear the wave outright early on anyway, and you're generally sharing it with 4 other mages,
exactly.
And so it's going to be very difficult to confirm the last hits to make sure you get all the gold. So why not pick up some more from Watchers, get a bit more sustain out of this build too, and it keeps you in lane longer, which means you get to farm more.
Right now, left-hand side, Minotaurs seem to be pushing up.
Ooh,
but there's the first blood, and it's Captain Titan Man himself, Ataraxia, bringing it down.
Captain versus Captain, and it's Ataraxia that wins that one for the time being. That comes into play nicely. Big old Thoth ult through the middle, but Panda just jukes it out. Zyrhoes is running from Mask, but Mask wasn't looking at him. He wanted adapting. He's trying to prove he's a better jungler.
Rewind for Rewind, and now there's damage for Wubbn. Dashing forward, Zyrhoes can't find it.
That's why he's an all-star. Managing to escape from a dangerous, tricky situation is Wubbn. Yes, I did get to say he's an all-star, and he survived, which is something unusual for the noble player.
Hey, man, Wubbn here, completely different world, which is, I think this is exciting, especially for a player like Wubbn. Oh, the dash away from it.
Oh! Ataraxia baits him in. The tower comes into play. Pandacat needs to learn. And as a mage, you're not going to be a survivor if you take an auto attack from a tower at this stage. Ooh.
I mean, Artemis isn't going to survive that either, to be honest with you. So,
true.
Pandacat suffering as per usual.
Just want you to know that Nate was so focused on surviving there that he didn't even get a single hit onto the Hebo, so nobody got the credit for that kill. Otherwise, Ataraxia will be 2 kills up in our very first NRG Invitational All-Star event.
On a serious note, watching that 180 dash, kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm missing Agni. I have missed seeing Agni, and seeing Agni in other game modes outside of Conquest, because he struggles there a little bit in the early phase is the reason. When you can keep continuing to drop bombs throughout the game, though, and get to that late stage, Agni's fantastic.
And now that we just poached Chaos from Polar Bear Mike's team, I mean, we're going to see even less Agni.
We're just trying to get rid of mages as a whole, if you notice. We're going to keep recruiting them, as many as we can. Prime's next on the list, I think.
PrettyPriMe and Zyrhoes aren't leaving.
Yeah, we could try. I mean, they're winning, though. The Europeans. North Americans don't win, so that's why they want to join hi-rez.
I see.
That's the difference. Look at Aggro. Aggro couldn't win. He becomes a caster.
Zyrhoes just dodges one, can't dodge the other. 2 for Team Titan. And PrettyPriMe combines with his old teammate and puts another on the board.
Realistically, both these teams should be focusing the mid lane players. PrettyPriMe and Zyrhoes should not survive because they're the hardest ones to deal with.
From a distance!
Takes out another one. IRaffer just uses his ult there as well, you saw, to transform, and then just gets deleted straight after.
Just, hey man, look, I'm somebody else. You die all the same. Chronos v Chronos. Basics are good, but the Aegis is better. Mask has to turn tail now right into the minions. Still gonna get hit by the time rift. No time stop available. and Mask going to jump his way to safety, adapting still on the chase.
Well, the junglers really showing that they like to fight it out, and Mask trying to prove a point that's not working out for him so far. Ataraxia, though, stunned in place, and boom! Not from real downtown, but deep enough to pick up Ataraxia.
Raxia getting a little bit ahead of himself. Felt good. Not good enough to take on 1 versus 3. What are you thinking, Nate?
Oh, Pythag's piece already for PrettyPriMe as well. Take into account that's an aura for your whole team. And that's the thing that I can see coming out from the Titans here a little bit more. Auras is what we're starting to see come through as well. You can also see Dimi's on the way towards another aura, which reduce protections of the enemy team.
See, I'm on the side of Mask and Pandacat with the Rangda's Mask. I mean, this is just going to be a slugfest, right?
Yep.
You're going to see mad kills, mad assists. Go with the crazy item that you don't get a chance to build in the regular games. And the Rangda's Mask, I think, is going to come up big for these players. Wubbn, he ain't no support. He's doing the carrying.
That's what happens when you give a support player an ultimate that can deal a hell of a lot of damage. And now adapting's on the run as the blink from Dimi's good to pick up with the fast hands, I should say, for a double kill for Dimi.
I will never get tired of watching Hebo. For those of y'all that don't know, when I first started playing Smite, I played Hebo from level 0 to level 30. I still want to just play Hebo all day.
So Hebo is OP in this, for the simple reason of, you know which ability is the OP? His 4th ultimate.
His 4th ultimate.
Wet Paper is amazing in this game mode. The Atlas of the Yellow River removes slows, makes you slow immune when you're on it, and speeds you up and slows the enemy team down. It's so useful for all the slows that could potentially come out. Benji basically can't really go Gem of Isolation because Dimi just goes, Wet Paper, I'm not really worried about it.
At the same time, though, you got to walk in a straight line, which just lines up the 0 zone.
That's true, potentially, but it's thick enough that you can juke out the ult if you're careful. And at the same time, Zyrhoes, you know, only 1 kill so far. But building the Book of Thoth, I like the fact that he's going to get those stacks online. Eventually.
The stacks don't matter. I'm more for the...
Listen, we're playing Clash, so the stacks matter. We're casuals here.
No, I'm going to go super casual. I like the thematic take on it. Thoth has his own book. 10 points to Zyrhoes.
Panda has to ult defensively because Prime was right on the money again. And what a surprise to see Prime playing Vulcan. I am shocked. I've never seen him play that.
I want to point out Wubbn, like, you know, on the serious note, bringing out the big guns. He's hiding the window in the geometry of the map like a real seasoned mid laner would. I like seeing this stuff.
I don't think it's intentional. I know you said he's doing it on purpose. I'm like, no, that's probably by accident. He didn't mean to put it there.
Nah.
The main issue that Titans have is
he's not putting it nowhere right there. Raffer is smoking him out for kill number 4 for the Minotaurs.
It's messy. It's 6-4. The gold lead is still even because that's how it'll be the whole game. It's all about the towers. The objectives are really the big important thing. And look at that 9-minute mark. Keep an eye in the middle bit where adapting is right now.
What goes up must come down. Raffer benches Dimi for the 2nd time this season. Gets him with the ultimate.
Oh, Minotaurs are just taking power. Now adapting going to be able to move up quicker, but can't find the last hit on Prime. Tier 1 tower being focused down now by the Minotaurs on the right-hand side. I say Tier 1, there's no Tier 2. So I should just say the tower.
PrettyPriMe using the backfire to get out of jail. That's one of the more cool things you get to see on Vulcan.
Someone's got to die to mid now. We've got 25 seconds till it spawns. I just want someone to go mid and die and not realize what they're doing.
Well, Minotaurs.
Because we'll find out if so. Go on, Wubbn. Wubbn's going to be the one. It's going to be Wubbn.
It's not going to be Wubbn.
I hope it's Wubbn. I don't really. I don't want it to be Wubbn.
Yes, you do.
I don't want it to be Wubbn. Who's in the mid? Raff is in mid. Is Raff baiting? Raff might be baiting.
I hope it's Benji.
Oh, is someone going to die to it? I heard some giggles and they were a second or two ahead. So I'm
going to
die in the
spawn.
No.
Knockup is good. Mask gets hit by Pandacat. We'll see you later.
That's what happens when you're a jungler who walks too far forward against 5 mages. You're going to disappear. Apotheosis spawn now, but nobody died to it for the time being. Hey, you know, we've got listeners today as well, you know.
Oh, do we?
We should be having a listen in, see how serious they're taking it.
Do we really have listeners to this?
I believe so.
You know what? Let's listen to...
Minotaurs, maybe? It's on the screen.
Rock, paper, scissors. I win red team, you win blue team.
Well, I saw Minotaurs, so let's just go with them.
All right, sure.
Okay, so there is listenings, but nobody's actually talking.
Yeah, that wasn't
a tech issue. There was just nobody talking on Minotaurs. They're all so focused on their individual play. There's no comms.
I mean, hey, they're the first...
Is this how EU really win?
That's the team with first Rebel. They get the first tower of the game. Zyrhoes lining up. Raxia still has the Aegis available. Come on, Zyrhoes, you can count.
Now, I like the fact that we're going for 2 different build paths from the teams, too. I talked about Titan going for auras, potentially.
Sure.
Minotaurs is going straight up personal damage.
Oh, yeah, just
personal
murder.
damage if they can. Apart from Raffer, who's going a little bit more tankier, going for the Onis for a little bit of magic
That's
resistance.
the support.
And that's generally what supports do. Plus, his CCs. The funny thing about the Onis is it does give mitigations if you get a CC around other people.
Yep.
But there's not a whole lot of CC Raffer's got, realistically.
I mean, he's got the Morrigan, the triangle, the little stab.
The triangle. Is that what... We're going to call it that?
The triangle.
No. I can't do that noise.
You can't do that.
I don't think I could do that noise.
But it's a triangle. He comes up and he stabs it, and then we lose the broadcast.
So we see gold per minute on the left-hand side. I want to see player damage. Can we see player damage? I want to know who's dealing deeps in this game. Ward's place, that's more important. 1 ward.
Why
Can we go
am I
back to
looking
that?
at player
That's a
damage?
true support. That's a world champion there. Raffer placed a ward.
I only care about net worth. Please just show me net worth the entire game.
No, we're not adapting. We don't care about that. Let's move on. I want to see player damage. That's what's more
Actually, I
important.
think experience per minute is the superior statistic.
In Clash, sure. Let's go for it. But no. Time spent dead, 83 seconds. 83 seconds dead for Dimi.
I forgot we have a new spectator on the clock today.
I know, so we're just like running him through it. Player damage, 7,500 player damage for Benji on the Alpwash.
No surprise there. He's going to be able to hit all of the AoE. I mean, he's going to hit the entire map with his abilities.
But Mask, we've got to talk about your mage play. We're going to have to talk about Mask mage play here. He's the lowest damaging person in this game. There is supports in this game too. Just want to mention that. But Mask is at the tail end of all of these 10 mages.
I do love the fact that Raffer's placed 2 wards. You just can't take it out of him.
Support play, man. It's so important. Vision is everything, and world champions know that. Oh, Raffer's going in for Ataraxia.
You can see the whole map from the fountain. You don't need a ward.
Well, it's Dimi that's going to take more of the damage. Oh, Jukes out the ult of his own. Aegis to buy him a second, but Mask is there for the cleanup. Daps is there for the cleanup. Mask, meanwhile, did pick up Zyrhoes at the same time.
He heard you right there, Mask. He's like, listen, man, I'm going
out.
to do it. Frenzy means fight. PrettyPriMe gets out of there, but not long enough. Benji smacks him down one more time. Raffer continuing the Wrath of Terror for the minions. Gets team number 10. Make that 11 on the board.
Oh, round the corner comes Benji looking for Wubbn, who's low on mana too. The shell early on to give him some extra health. But in comes Adapting to take a couple of shots, and boom goes the corpses, and Benji gets a kill.
Real talk, I actually really like that play. Benji goes through and tanks the tower, knowing that he's going to be able to heal up with the corpses.
And Warlock Sash, don't forget as well. He's very tanky with that extra health he's got.
Apopsis gets the kill.
That's because Pandacat doesn't know how to tank it. That was the issue. He's not worked out the systems that are in place for Apophis, and the damage he deals is a lot bigger. Anyway, enough of us. Let's try another listening, because I want to see if this time the Titans are talking. Let's have a listen.
I'm gonna get a heavenly wind.
I don't think it's that strong.
Just like the fuck
I'm gonna get a
heavenly wind.
Yeah, we gotta like we gotta
just
probably
like
all
the
in one
fuck
of
the
these fights, right?
outwash. Like
Yeah, we gotta like we gotta
like,
probably all in one of these fights, right?
yeah,
Yeah, we need to be grouped up.
we were like we killed one
getting-
person on left and then killed one person.
Pretty sure we're getting like forced on by.
Yeah.
Thoth has no shit up right now. So
Yeah. We could definitely fight. Thoth middle. Or Thoth left. Raffer's left. Thoth dash.
Dash? Yeah. Can we get on him?
Not really.
I have a blink.
Dash on a death. I think more is there.
Fuck Raptor.
I have ult in 3 seconds.
Mask really coming in there in the clutch, really just being the captain here for this team. Ataraxia, strangely silent.
Well, to be fair, you heard him both. You heard Prime speak as well. Ataraxia speak, and you heard Mask speak. And the good news is for tomorrow, they're the sort of voices you want to hear on the comms too. So Mask getting his voice out there with his team now is actually big for tomorrow. In this game, though, taking it more serious than I expected, I guess, in one way, because they're actually calling out when things like the Thoth dash is on cooldown. That's important. That's like high-level play where you're like, it's on cooldown, we should be committing now before he can get it up again.
Listen, man, I told you, it's all fun in games, and then you start playing, and then when you start losing...
Oh, then you got issues. Then you're like, hang on a second. We shouldn't be losing this. Prime with a lazy back there gets himself caught. A bit of damage from Benji, who is top of the damage.
There's a triangle. Raffer with the triangle.
You're right, it is. I wasn't saying it was a triangle. It's also 3 people as well, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it's...
Wubbn.
Don't be obtuse.
Lightly up. Well, I wasn't being obtuse at all. I was just saying there's 3 people.
I'm just saying he's got the right angle.
Okay. He's got more than one right angle if it's a perfect triangle.
Is there a point for isosceles?
I think we're taking this less like serious than the players are right now. As Benji's going to dive in deep, tank the tower.
That's a big play.
Minions, though, have got the aggro of the tower. The tower's starting to be chipped down, and Minotaurs are winning this engage. Ataraxia's dead.
Oh, Adapting gets the kill. That big play coming out from the Minotaurs. Benji's choice of Opwash might have won this game. They did the same thing on the tower, on the right side as they did on the left side.
Zone.
They push up forward, zone with the crypts, and then take down the structure.
Wubbn showing off that he can play a couple couple of mages. That's better than his Guardian play all year, that one.
Ouch.
That was perfect. Zyrhoes just got removed, and Zyrhoes did not expect that from a support.
No, this is what's fun is because, you know, Wubbn's on a lower end team rocking the Noble jersey, and we see him in that team environment. But keep in mind, you know, these are still professional players,
And
man.
let me go back to it. I'm joking about Wubbn.
I
It's
know you
great to
are.
see. No, but the viewers at home might be like, why is Hindu just ribbing Wubbn all the time? It's just more like seeing supports do well. I'm looking forward to seeing Jeff later on. Jeff doesn't get to play a Guardian in any of the game modes if he takes part, apart from in the Conquest one.
So players like Wubbn and iRaffer, they are, how we say, well-rounded.
Sure.
Jeff plays
iRaffer.
Guardians and Honor. That's it.
Oh, Bracer came into play to keep Ataraxia alive, and Raffer committed a little bit too deep as turning into the Hebo. Adapting's going to take out Dimi in response. Maskey's at half health. Adapting pushing forward, looking for an extra kill if he can find it. And Maskey's now one hit from death.
Still going to be taken out. There's the knockup. Adapting with the delayed damage from time stop. Gets the kill. Watch out for Pandacat on the right. Still dealing damage with the knockup. And PrettyPriMe surrounded by mages. Triple kill for Adapting.
And meanwhile, in the left-hand lane, Zyrhoes being a typical mid laner, refusing to rotate. I see this in my Clash games all the time. Lack of rotation, wants to farm up and try and take a Phoenix in his own, as Ataraxia is still defending against 2.
Hey, man. Got a split push. Building stacks. I know he has 75, but I'm just saying build stacks.
So when coming into this game, I kind of expected, you know, overall in the tournament...
He got the Phoenix!
He did. That's important.
First Firebird goes down because Zyrhoes refuses to play with the team.
Now, do you know what spawns now instead, now that the Phoenix is down? Apophis minions. Apophis minions now spawn. And those Apophis minions have the tentacles that come out of them, Tom.
That's crazy.
And actually whack at the minions that deal a lot more damage.
It's so much fun watching those guys come out after this play. I'm excited to see what those tentacles are able to do here on the left-hand side of the map. But you're baiting me, aren't you?
Did you really believe there was tentacles that came out the arms?
You're baiting me so hard.
This is what you get for not playing the other game modes. You need to understand what goes on. I mean, you've not seen the Kraken yet, so don't worry about it. The Kraken spawns at 20 minutes in the middle, and he'll fight Apophis.
Yeah, and then at 25 minutes, everybody turns into a Masigno, and everybody brings home Togepi. Right-hand
Why are you
side,
releasing the next
Titans here. Blink forward.
Oh,
this
Frenzy
is the
means
all-in
fight.
Hail Mary. PrettyPriMe gets the kill. Benji's going to die next. Raffer answers back, but it's a 1 for 2.
Well, 1 for 2 works out well because they've taken out the solo laner and the hunter, but Zyrhoes over the wall, gets a good stun on Dimi, has to Aegis. Meanwhile, Raffer's stunned in place, tries to turn into another target and gets the Aegis off in time. Raffer survives as Zyrhoes was just working the back line.
Wubbn getting hit. Zyrhoes has 3. Raffer ults just to close the distance. Wubbn with the 180, but it's still Team Minotaurs. I loved the play coming out from Titans, but just a little bit too short.
Is this game going to end right now?
It just might be.
Do you know if it can end, Tom?
Absolutely. They just have to take this guy out.
And that's right, they will take this guy out. The guy at the end of the map, which is also known as a Titan, falls down. Minotaurs take the very first game of our Invitational.
I really like that play. Real talk, I like that play. Titans realized, look, we are getting smoked. This is how that's going to end. I have one shot. We're going to hide behind this rock, blink, frenzy, kill them all. Well, it didn't happen, so they died, and then the game obviously goes in the other direction.
I wonder what they're all thinking after that. How could they have improved, Tom? I guess I'm going to come to you with that one. How do you think this team could have improved going forward in the Clash mode?
Really, what it comes down to, I think they should have paid more attention to the Apophis. If they had gotten the Phoenixes earlier, we might have seen more of those tentacle minions come out and actually secure the victory.
And I think that's the issue that Prime ran into there. Not getting those tentacle minions online could have really helped them out in the long run. But that's only game 1. We're still going to see the other 2 teams today partake in this and see what they have to offer too.
Oh, I thought this was a best of 9.
Is it a best of 9?
That's what I heard.
Maybe it is.
Who knows? Well, that was a fantastic performance. So we do have the other 2 teams.
Fantastic. I was like, best of 9? Really? Come on. I could have believed the best of 3 and I would have panicked a little bit of like, God, no. No more of that. We've still got a lot of game modes to do today. 3v3 coming up after this as well, after we see the Clash one. Then we get Multiplicity, which is Assault, 5-on-5, all the same god. No Thoth allowed, though, just so you guys know.
We see you, Enix.
We saw Enix. We don't need to see that again. That's
quick. MVP of that last match.
Gotta be Wubbn.
I was actually going to say the same thing.
Gotta be Wubbn. He stood out above the rest. What more can you ask for?
Even right before they lost that 180 turnaround to smoke out Pandacat. Love the play. We'll be right back with some more Mage Madness after this.